Today we're going to demonstrate the Asthma Questionnaire workflow using both PKB, NHS App and SystmOne. This is a recognised process for reviewing long-term conditions, and it assists you in your practice process in using digital enablement.
So for each practice, the beginning of the process will obviously be to highlight the patients who will actually need these reviews completing. So long-term condition reviews are the process that we're going to demonstrate today. So you'll highlight them in the usual way that you would within your clinical system, and then communicate out to those patients in the appropriate way. So text messages, telephone calls, letters, just as you usually would do. And then Adam will demonstrate how the patient will actually send that message through to the practice for you.
So there are two routes in which a patient can reply to their message. So they can log on through the NHS app, this is an example here. So we've logged on as a test patient here on the NHS app to reply to their online consultation, which the clinical practice have asked you to do. So you click on the More button, you click on Messages and Online Consultations, and then you select the Start Consultation. It will take you through to a variety or a choice of consultations, so depending on what that healthcare provider provides you with. So this one, for example, will be your asthma questionnaire. However, this sandbox environment here for NHS App doesn't have that enabled, but we'll log on to Patients Know Best and show you how to complete it there. So you'll see that this screen here for the events and messages will look very similar to what it does in PKB. So logging in as a patient, you'll have your own username and password. You log into the site, which will take you to your own personal home. To start a consultation, you can click the quick button, Start Consultation, or it'll be a notification in your inbox saying that we need to complete a pre-consultation questionnaire for your asthma review, or you can select the Events and Messages tab. So there are three simple ways to do it. For quick and easiness, I'm going to click on Start Consultation. It'll ask me here for the drop-down menu, so this will look exactly the same on NHS App. So if we click on the Asthma Questionnaire, press Start, and we'll fill in the questions of which the practices have asked you to complete. So for this example, because this is a test patient, we'll just make some examples up. We'll just read through it quickly for you. So how many exacerbations have you had? So for instance, I've had 2. Are you a smoker? Yes. Have you been near somebody who's smoking? Yes, etc. So say it's only 100, so it's quite poor at the moment. And then we get to decide just to submit it, and that will go straight to the clinical professional in the practice. So I'll pass you back to Rebecca. So Rebecca will log on as the clinician.
Okay, so if I just share my screen with you. So from here, the first notification will be an email to the practice, just to let you know that there's a message within PKB. And then we can log on as that professional admin. So a lot of the practices have got an admin team set up to deal with these messages. So they'll come straight onto here and into the messages section at the top. That will highlight that they've potentially got a questionnaire ready to be read, and they can open it up and have a look what's inside it. So you can see all of the answers that that particular patient has entered into here. So for this example, the process that we're going to show you uses SystmOne. So for example, what we could do is, as an admin team, let the clinician know now that they've got this questionnaire waiting for them within PKB. So we can find the particular patient that's sent the questionnaire in and just send a task to that clinician to let them know that they've got a message within there. So we could use a template, for example, just to say there is a consultation to view. The other thing that we could possibly do is send a text message to the patient using this SMS message at the top. What that will do is just send a message straight through to the patient. So we could have some presets in here. So organisation presets. Thank you for submitting your online questionnaire. As an example, it just lets the patient know that you've received that and that it is in the hands of the clinician. So as a clinician, we can work through the list of tasks that we've got. So if we come down here and see that we've got this task within SystmOne, the other option that practices are using is actually booking these into a rota, so a triage rota. to review these questionnaires. So we can retrieve the patient either way, either from the rota or from this task list. And what we can do is use something called single sign-on. So from the patient's record, we can launch this PKB page. And once it's loaded up, what it gives you is that patient's PKB record. So the clinician has access to look at all sorts of different information, all on a summary view straight away when they open it up. Or they can come straight to the events and messages screen and actually have a look at that questionnaire for themselves. So if we go into here, as a clinician, we can review this asthma questionnaire. So if we switch back to SystmOne at this point, obviously this information needs potentially entering into SystmOne. So if we want to satisfy QoF at the moment, what we can do is fill in the usual template that we would do if we were talking to the patient on the phone or if they were actually sat at the side of us. Again, for this example, we've set up a couple of quick options within SystmOne. So we can use an auto consultation. And within here, we've set up two separate ones. So if we feel the patient actually needs a review face-to-face, we can use appointment needed. If they don't need that appointment and you're happy that they're okay for their review until next year, they can go on and say that there's no appointment needed. So for example, if we choose no appointment needed, what we've set it to do is actually to open up the relevant template within SystmOne. So this will allow you to use SystmOne and PKB, so looking at the PKB, going to the SystmOne and filling in this particular template. Once we've done that, it puts a little bit of text in there for us, and it will also, on the save of the record, send another task back to the admin. So this is all stuff that's changeable from practice to practice. So within here, it will automatically change your contact method for you. So this will be done in the background. You won't necessarily see this, but it can potentially change that contact method. So on that close of the record, it automatically sends off a task back to the appropriate staff. So for example, this one here would go to the admin team. They can then work through these messages and potentially reply back within PKB if that's appropriate. So we've put in some text that the staff may want to use. So we could copy this back into the PKB section. So if they go into their events and messages, they can reply with that message in here and send it back to the patient. And then what they would want to do is actually archive that message within here. That will move it out of the active list so that they know that they no longer have to deal with that particular message.
So I'll just log back onto it as the patient would see. So I've logged on to the patients know best. So if I go back to the home page, should have updated it. Let me just update for 1 second. And if I go to events and messages, it should say that I've received some correspondence from the practice. So if I log on to their updated one, so if I scroll down the conversation, and then there you'll see the correspondence from your GP practice or your healthcare provider. So it's just to show you continuity of messaging and how it will link and work together. If you have any questions, then we're more than happy to answer them. Just get in contact with NHS App. Their contact details are on the website.